What's going on Facebook? This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, the founder of the highest paid part-time job in the world. So what we're going to talk about is how to get a 12% return in 5 days without committing a crime, getting a finance degree, or selling your time. And I think selling your time is the most important part of this particular equation. And so this is going to be for the person that is really interested in the options market, but they kind of really don't understand how we're doing some of the things that we're doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the Caesars, I believe it's Caesars Entertainment or Caesars Casino. It's the name of a casino chain or a casino operation out there in Vegas. They may also have some operations out there in China and maybe even, I think maybe in Canada. And we're going to break down how we were able to take advantage of a situational, what we call a situational play, in which there's a specific situation going on that we're able to leverage, right, to generate some income or to generate some money towards us. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I was able to make this particular play, and I made the play on a Friday right before the market closed because I saw that that particular ticker was going up. So I made the play right before the market closed, and my intent was to sell it the next week because I always believe once this coronavirus situation started to unravel is that we're going to have these quote unquote shutdowns. Now, I didn't believe it was going to be as widespread as it is right now, but I believe that most of the places in which you have a lot of crowds congregating, right, we're going to get shut down. And so some of those included casinos, some of those included cruises, and they also included airplanes. But really, airports are really a dangerous place to be right now, but because nobody's on the airplane and therefore nobody's at the airport. So let's get into it. So this coronavirus situation came out. So what you want to understand is that when you're looking at options plays, you want to understand is that how will the market respond to a particular situation going on in the world? And what we're seeing with coronavirus is that the market lacks so much confidence in this system. Because really what we're seeing is we're seeing the indictment of the system, but nobody wants to talk about that. They want to make it seem like it's all about coronavirus. But really what we're seeing is that the market lacks so much confidence in this system that we're currently operating under. What's going on, Katrina? What's going on, Alexis? It lacks so much confidence in the system that we're operating under. Once they saw other people moving out of the market, they also started to do the same thing. So we're seeing now that almost pretty much the whole S&P 500 has been affected by coronavirus. But most importantly is that businesses in which large amounts of people congregate as part of their business model, people had no confidence in that business because they realized that that particular business was going to be affected by coronavirus. And those businesses has not created any kind of SOP. And when I say SOP, I mean standing operating procedure to deal with coronavirus. So once you start seeing the sell-off, people that have already bought those shares, their attitude is, I don't want to get left holding these shares, and what we call get left holding the bag. So what they do is they also start selling off. So I predicted that it was going to be cruise lines, it was going to be casinos, it was going to be airlines that were going to be hit really hard by this, and their hit was going to be long lasting. So we're seeing a sell-off in places like Facebook, places like Apple. I don't know why Facebook is selling off, but there's a total market sell-off because like I told you before is that people don't have confidence in this particular system that we're operating under. And nobody wants to say that. But what we're seeing is that this situation with coronavirus was essentially the catalyst to show that nobody had confidence in this. So what I did was I looked at the price point of Caesars. So Caesars at that time was already under $10 and it fell over the course of the past 3 weeks. But I knew it was going to continue to fall because like I said before is that Caesars did not close their operation and they did not have the ability to communicate to the public or really to the market that we have an SOP that is designed to handle some of the risks associated with coronavirus. So the market had no confidence in their ability to deal with the situation. So people kept selling off their shares because nobody wanted to be left holding that bag of Caesars shares. They continue to sell off and the price continued to fall. So I predicted that the price will continue to fall. So I bought a $10 put to expire in June. What I really wanted to happen was for them to release their earnings report and for them to explain to the market how they had lost so much money as a result of their closings. But see, one thing about me is that we talked about in an earlier video, Once I determine what return is acceptable to me, I sell my contract. So I was able to get around a 200% return. I think I paid $149 for it. The return was $449. So I got around a 200% return on this particular contract. So it didn't make sense for me to hold this contract until after earnings. I just went ahead and sold off because I didn't want some kind of crazy situation to happen and I lose everything I gained on the contract. So when we're looking at the market, what you want to do is start to understand not what you think about a situation, but how you believe that other people are going to react to a situation. And I'm here to tell you is that the majority of the world has no confidence in the system. How do I know they have no confidence in the system? Because all it took was this illness called coronavirus. This particular illness is not as deadly as HIV. It's not as deadly as diabetes. It's not as deadly as heart disease. It's not as deadly as cancer. And all it took was for the media to start talking about this particular illness. And everybody started selling off their shares. And so that's how I made money on the Carnival Cruise Line play. We're over almost 1,000% on those plays. That's how I made 200% return on this. And if I would have had more capital up front, I could have made even more money. But I'm working with limited capital, so I just got to make the plays that I can make. But I want to show you how I'm making these plays because this is not magic. I'm not doing this with smoke and mirrors. It's just an understanding of the psychology of the market and me not believing a lot of the falsehoods, right, that are part of this American way of life. Nobody has confidence in the system, right? They just play along with it because they don't know what else to do. But the first opportunity or the first time they see other people leaving, it's like you're on a boat. And as soon as you see other people jumping off the boat, you jump off too. Why? Because you don't want to get left on the boat. Well, that's exactly what we just saw happen. And it's what we're currently seeing happen. And so right now they're predicting a recession for the United States is because nobody has confidence in this particular system. So the moment they could leave and get out of the particular situation and they saw other people doing it, they did the same thing. The question you want to ask yourself is how can you profit from that particular situation? Because you didn't create this system, therefore you're not responsible for it. And you're also not responsible for repairing the system. So the question you want to ask yourself is that while all this is going on, how can myself and my family profit from it? And so when you get around me, I can teach you how you can take these situations and profit from it because the repair of this system is not going to be your call, just like the destruction of the system is not going to be your call. Your job is to try to figure out how you can profit in the meantime while these particular powers are going back and forth. So I wanted to break that down to if you have any further questions, hit me up in the comments or just reach out to me in PM. If you want me to break this down further, how I was able to generate this kind of return in a relatively short amount of time. My name is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave. Talk to you later.